what's up guys? Welcome to the Jetty Jet Show. How are you guys doing today? This is actually Quiet from Metal Gear 5. I'm actually going to be drawing Alice Nakiri from Shokugeki no Soma, aka Food Wars. But I'm going to save over an old file because it just speeds everything up. I have all of my watermarks and stuff that I want to keep. Having to go back and search for all those layers or creating new ones, it's just unnecessary. You just, save over your old file and it'll speed everything up. So alright, let's do this. We're going to start off first with the rough draft pose. Alright, I like to start off with the head. And I also do it in this kind of general shape here. This kind of general shape I've gotten used to. Alright, so here's the pose. I think this one has a lot more energy, a little more curvy and rhythmic. I'm gonna just copy and paste this one onto a new layer just so that we can have a copy of the original pose, and I'm gonna draw directly over this layer and just kind of erase out parts that I don't want and build the details right over it. So drawing like cloth over the breast is a really difficult feat to accomplish, I think, and I find it helpful to draw the anatomy first and erase out the lines that you don't need, but leaving some in and out. That'll give us kind of the illusion of kind of the forms that are underneath. Again, sometimes the best approach is to be a little more conservative, a little more subtle. Sometimes it's sexier to just put a big old Eskimo jacket over her and cover up everything and just let your imagination just make up all the other stuff. And again, it's nice because it really is more common in real life when you see hair that's really close and matted down against the skull versus all that extra volume. And this is really one of the features that makes it Alice, is that the hair is just nice and rounded off shape. In the world of manga and animation, anime forms and features can be really pushed because it's stylized. We're having fun. We're just having fun. Sometimes halfway through I think to myself, maybe I should just ink this. No, we don't do that. We stick to the game plan. Alright, we're going to do a silhouette around the character, and it's going to be a nice cool blue. Again, it can be whatever color you want. I'm going with a desaturated blue. Let's go. Alright, so our next stage is to add the colors. Alright, so for our colors, we're just going to choose whatever colors that matches Alice's design. For skin, I like to use something in between the red and the orange. Alright, so next we're going to add some plaid, and this is going to be tricky, so let's do this on a separate layer. We can just go in and find a nice plaid design texture and just overlay it or multiply it on, but that's going to give us a really flat look. Doing it manually is going to allow us to follow the form of the actual pleats of the skirt. It looks a little weird, but that's okay. Let's add the darker squares. Wherever these lines are overlapping each other, that's where we're gonna add these darker squares. Not looking too bad. Look pretty good. All right, so for the final stage of the plaid, we're gonna add some white lighter strips going through all of these lines. The next step would be to add some shadows, but I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while, and that is using the multiply tool for the shadows, because those patterns on her skirt are just going to be really tricky to add some manual shadows on. So using some multiply shadows would probably be the best approach. To do that, let's just open a new layer here and clip it down as always and go to multiply. Alright, switching it over to a transparent brush, I'm going to use this to help blend away. That's looking good. Let's add one of my favorite parts, and that's the highlights over the shadow shapes. Now, keep in mind there will be a strong light source hitting from behind, but there's cool light emanating from the front. All right, so I'm just gonna choose a pretty saturated blue. Let's desaturate a little bit. Alright, great. So the next step for us would be to add some rim lighting. So above the line, I'm just going to create a new layer because I want this to be a really opaque light, meaning I don't want any transparency. So in this instance, I'm going to just create these really bright lights right over the plaid design, and that's okay in this case. It's a really strong light source. So the drawing's pretty much done, but I do want to add a background, something simple, something sexy. I don't know what other kind of background it could be when you're like kneeling like that, so I'm just gonna go with something simple. How about on the bed? Yeah, let's put her on the bed. Maybe she wants to play some video games. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Flower vase over here, and how about some curtains? We'll get some framing going on, and since it's not the focus, we can get away with a really basic shape. Go if when in doubt, draw a bedroom. Just draw a bedroom. We can just go ahead and make our final paint over, and that's going to paint over all of the colors, blending away line and the debris and messiness, and just clean it up. And now let's just go in, blend out, and paint away some of those rough edges. Make sure not to blend away everything, just areas where it seems kind of distracting and messy. I just love her like white hair and red eyes. Those two, there's something about those two like combinations. It's just so attractive and appealing. I'm just going back and forth having fun with it, and now I'm just adding the final little strands here and there, just finishing up her hair. So finding these pockets, hitting them with a nice saturated red. So let's add some atmospheric light and shadows, just as a final touch, because it is kind of light. So let's see. That's good. All right, now let's add some soft atmospheric light. Let's do a soft light overlay. Mess with the colors of the glow a bit. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like that a lot. And battle! This is it. After a long drawn out battle, we got it done. It took me about 2 weeks. It's pretty painful, but in the end, we don't lose. We don't give up. If you guys want to see the full tutorial breakdown, in-depth voiceover, it'll be available through my Patreon. And if you want individual packs from the rewards, It'll also be available through my Gumroad. FYI, I will be doing an NSFW piece of this as well, and I should have a preview of it available on my DeviantArt. And I just want to give a big old shout out and thank you to the 10 of you guys who are currently supporting me on Patreon so far. Even though there's 10, it warms my heart so much, and it means the world to me waking up in the morning knowing that there are some of you guys willing to throw some money at me and support me. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you guys learned something. Take care, and as always, bada bop, bada bop boom, pieces.